Let's start with the most famous cut infected, the Screamer. The Screamer was designed as a straitjacket-bound special infected who would wander aimlessly around the map, similar to the Witch. He was meant to be passive until he encountered survivors, but here's the twist. Instead of attacking, he would panic and frantically run away to find safety. If he succeeded in escaping, he would let out an ear-piercing scream that summoned a horde of common infected. Sound familiar? That's because this mechanic eventually became part of the Boomer's abilities. In early development, both the Screamer and Boomer actually coexisted. Back then, the Boomer would simply explode on death, dealing damage and turning the screen red, but it didn't summon hordes. When Valve took over development from Turtle Rock Studios, they made the creative decision to merge the Screamer's horde-calling ability into the Boomer, making it a far more disruptive threat. But the Screamer's legacy didn't completely disappear. His high-pitched scream was recycled and used for the Hunter's Pounce Alert. And the idea of an infected running away from survivors was eventually implemented in the Fallen Survivor, an uncommon infected from the passing DLC. So why was the Screamer cut? The answer is simple: gameplay frustration. Imagine having to chase down a fleeing infected through crowds of zombies while he's actively summoning more hordes. On expert difficulty, with 30 common infected blocking your path, it would be nearly impossible and incredibly annoying. Valve decided the concept was too difficult and too situational to work well. Interestingly, the Screamer was far enough in development that he only needed a fully rendered 3D model before release. Remnants of him can still be found in the game files, and in the Xbox 360 version, there's a test configuration file that refers to him as the Scout. Thanks to the Steam Workshop, modders have even created fully rendered Screamer models that can replace the Boomer in-game.
Next up is one of the most grotesque concepts, the Ratman, also known as Vermin. This special infected was designed by Peter Koenig and featured in Left 4 Dead 2 concept art. The Ratman's stomach would carry a horde of rats inside it, which he could unleash on survivors through his stomach and mouth. The idea was that these rats would swarm a survivor, engulfing them and causing continuous damage until another player helped remove them. It would have functioned as a mobile hive enemy, forcing players to maintain distance. Molotovs would likely have been the best countermeasure, burning through the rat swarm quickly. Why didn't this make it? The technical challenge of rendering dozens of individual rats bursting from an infected and swarming survivors was likely too complex. Plus, from a lore perspective, it raises strange questions. How did these rats get inside him? Why did they follow his commands like some kind of zombie Pied Piper? It's a concept that's creatively interesting, but narratively difficult to justify.
The Hellhog was a cut infected from Left 4 Dead 1 that took the form of a mutated wild boar. It had decayed pale flesh, glowing red eyes, thick black hair, and 2 large tusks. Upon spotting survivors, it would charge at them, similar to the Charger, though likely as a weaker threat. The Hellhog is significant because it's one of only 2 infected animals designed for the game, suggesting the green flu might have originally been planned to infect animals as well as humans. This would align with theories that the infection originated from livestock. Interestingly, at the end of the passing campaign, you can actually see dead cows lying around, hinting that animals may have been affected by the virus, which makes the Hellhog concept even more plausible within the game's lore.
The other animal infected was the zombie dog.
As the name suggests, this was an infected dog that would have functioned similarly to the Hunter, pouncing on survivors and attacking them. Unfortunately, no concept art exists for the zombie dog, only sound files labeled Zombie Dog Attack 1, 2, and 3. These sound files were later modified and repurposed for the Hunter's attack sounds. So, in a way, the zombie dog lives on in spirit. If both the Hellhog and zombie dog had been included, it raises interesting questions. What other animals could have been infected? Bears in forest environments? Infected crows? The possibilities would have been terrifying. Now let's talk about the Leaker, a concept that's caused plenty of confusion over the years. For a long time, rumors circulated about a cut infected called the Leaker, who would burrow into the ground like a landmine and explode when survivors walked over him. Chet Faliszek, a writer for both Left 4 Dead games, spoke about the Leaker in a YouTube video where he clarified that the Leaker did exist, but only barely. It was brought up during early development meetings for Left 4 Dead 2 and was immediately dismissed. The concept was shot down so quickly that it never got concept art, models, or any real development time. As Chet put it, standing still, exploding, and having nobody near you is not going to be fun in Versus. Because it was scrapped so fast, literally within the same meeting it was proposed, it never went through the proper development process, like the Charger, Spitter, or Jockey did. Very interestingly though, remnants of the Leaker still exist in the game files. You can activate cheats and type in boomer_leaker chance 100, then spawn a boomer with Z spawn boomer. The boomer will spawn, but will stop moving when a survivor comes close and explode, leaving a fire trap for a few seconds, which seems like a very early prototype of the leaker concept. Here's where things get truly bizarre. The Meatwall. This cut Left 4 Dead 2 infected was an absolutely massive brute. The concept art shows the Meatwall carrying headless infected corpses, suggesting it could throw them as projectiles. Its mouth is covered in blood. Its bloated stomach suggested it might explode upon death, releasing acid or blood similar to the spitter. From a lore perspective, the Meatwall could fit within the green flu's mutation patterns. If the smoker developed an elongated tongue from heavy smoking, and the tank came from someone with excessive muscle growth, then the Meatwall could represent someone with an overactive growth hormone disorder, amplified by the virus. Defeating this monstrosity would have required serious firepower, likely Molotovs and coordinated team attacks. Its slow speed would have been its weakness, giving survivors a chance to maintain distance. The Claw is one of the more mysterious cut infected, with limited information available. According to concept art, the Claw was extremely fast and silent, capable of clinging to ceilings. It would wait for a lone survivor, or someone at the back of the group, then suddenly snatch them and retreat into hiding, similar to the Hunter's mechanics, but with more stealth. Thanks for watching. Check out my other videos on how to survive the Left 4 Dead zombies. And if you enjoyed this one, make sure to like and subscribe.